The nighttime secret your doctor skips. Every night, while you sleep, your kidneys don't stop working. They filter your entire blood supply, all 5 liters of it, roughly 40 times over. That's happening right now, even as you sit here watching this. And yet almost every kidney health video you'll ever find tells you the same thing. Cut the sodium, cut the potassium, cut the phosphorus. Remove, remove, remove. Here's what almost nobody talks about. There are foods you can add, specifically at night, that actually work with your kidneys instead of against them. Not random folk remedies. 8 specific fruits, verified against National Kidney Foundation data, each one chosen for a very specific reason tied to what your kidneys are doing while you sleep. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which fruits to reach for before bed, how much to eat, and, this part matters, which one of these 8 comes with a serious catch that almost every other video conveniently leaves out. Stick around because fruit number 8 is the one most people get completely wrong, and it could matter a lot depending on your medication. And before we get to the fruits themselves, I want to be upfront about something. This isn't a detox video. Your kidneys don't need cleansing, that's not how they work, and if a channel ever tells you otherwise, that's your sign to click away. What this video is about is support. Giving your kidneys the right raw materials at the right time, based on what the research actually says, not what sounds dramatic in a thumbnail. Let's get into it. How your kidneys actually work. Before we get to the fruits, you need 30 seconds of context, because it's the reason nighttime matters at all. Your kidneys are 2 fist-sized organs sitting just below your rib cage, and their job is filtration. Blood goes in, waste comes out, and the clean blood goes back into circulation. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, the NIDDK, this filtration process runs continuously, but your body's internal repair and inflammation regulation cycles shift into a different gear overnight. While you're asleep, blood pressure naturally dips. That's called nocturnal dipping, and it's actually a good sign for kidney health when it happens properly. Inflammation markers are processed. Oxidative stress from the day gets cleared. This means the fuel you give your body in the hours before sleep can either support that overnight repair process, or work against it. That's the whole premise of this video. Not a miracle cure. Just working with your biology instead of against it. Think of it this way. Your kidneys don't clock out at night. They shift into a maintenance shift. Lower blood pressure, active inflammation cleanup, oxidative stress clearance. If the last thing you feed your body before that shift begins is a bowl of ice cream loaded with sugar and sodium, you're handing your kidneys a harder job right as they're trying to recover. If instead you give them something like what we're about to cover, you're handing them raw materials that actually make that overnight job easier. That's the entire logic behind kidney-friendly nighttime fruit. Not magic. Just timing and ingredient choice working together. Now, let's talk fruit.
Fruit egy, tartszerés.
If there's one fruit on this list that has the most direct research behind nighttime consumption, it's tart cherries. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of phytomelatonin, a plant-based compound structurally similar to the melatonin your own body produces to regulate sleep. A systematic review published on PMC examined tart cherry consumption and sleep outcomes, and a separate pilot study specifically looked at tart cherry juice concentrate in adults with insomnia, both pointing toward modest but measurable improvements in sleep duration and quality. Here's why that matters for your kidneys specifically. Poor sleep is independently linked to elevated blood pressure, and blood pressure is one of the 2 leading causes of kidney damage, right alongside blood sugar. So better sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's part of the kidney protection picture. On top of that, tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins, the pigment compounds responsible for their deep red color, which the National Kidney Foundation lists as having anti-inflammatory properties relevant to kidney health. The numbers, according to USDA Food Data Central, a half-cup serving of tart cherries contains roughly 130 to 160 milligrams of potassium, low enough to fit comfortably into most kidney-friendly diets, though if you're managing advanced CKD, always check your individual potassium target with your dietitian. How to eat them. A small handful, about half a cup, of fresh or unsweetened dried tart cherries, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Avoid the sweetened, sugar-packed dried versions sold as snack mixes. One more thing worth mentioning. Tart cherry juice concentrate is popular in supplement form, but concentrate means concentrated sugar too. If you're managing blood sugar alongside kidney health, which, frankly, describes a huge number of people watching this, whole fruit is almost always the smarter choice over juice for this fruit. Fruit number 2. Blueberries. Blueberries earn their spot on this list almost entirely because of one compound, anthocyanins, the same pigment family we just mentioned in cherries, but blueberries are one of the most concentrated natural sources of it. The National Kidney Foundation specifically highlights blueberries for their antioxidant density, and here's the mechanism that matters. Your kidneys are constantly exposed to oxidative stress as a byproduct of filtration. Over years, that oxidative load contributes to the gradual decline in kidney function that shows up in blood work as a dropping eGFR. Anthocyanins act as free radical scavengers, helping neutralize some of that oxidative burden. The numbers: a 1/2 cup serving of blueberries contains approximately 55 to 65 milligrams of potassium and very low phosphorus, making them one of the safer high antioxidant options even for people watching both minerals closely, though again, individual CKD stage should guide portion size. Nighttime relevance. Blueberries also carry a modest fiber load, which supports the gut microbiome, and there's growing research connecting gut health to reduced systemic inflammation, which circles back to kidney protection. How to eat them: 1/2 cup fresh or frozen, thawed. Plain. Skip the sweetened yogurt parfait version if you're managing blood sugar too. Fruit number 3. Strawberries. Strawberries are next, and they work through a similar but distinct mechanism: oxidative stress reduction. A study on PMC examining strawberry antioxidant properties found that regular strawberry consumption was associated with reduced markers of oxidative stress and inflammation in study participants. For your kidneys, which are essentially working as a 24/7 filtration system, reducing the oxidative wear and tear on that filtration tissue is a meaningful long-term protective strategy. Strawberries also bring something the other fruits on this list don't have as much of: vitamin C, which the Mayo Clinic notes plays a role in tissue repair and immune function, both relevant to the overnight repair window we talked about earlier. The numbers: 1 cup of sliced strawberries contains roughly 220 milligrams of potassium. Moderate, so portion awareness matters more here than with blueberries or cherries, especially for anyone in later CKD stages. How to eat them: 1/2 to 3/4 cup, sliced, on their own or with a small amount of plain, unsweetened dairy or plant-based yogurt. Fruit number 4. Apples. Apples might be the most underrated fruit on this entire list, and here's why: blood sugar stabilization. Apples are high in soluble fiber, particularly pectin, which slows the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. This matters enormously for kidney health because, and this is worth repeating, uncontrolled blood sugar is one of the 2 leading causes of chronic kidney disease, according to the NIDDK. Every spike in blood glucose puts additional stress on the small blood vessels inside your kidneys, called glomeruli, which are responsible for filtration. Eating an apple before bed, instead of a high-sugar dessert, means you're not sending your kidneys into overnight repair mode already dealing with a blood sugar spike. The numbers: 1 medium apple with a skin on contains about 195 milligrams of potassium and virtually no phosphorus, making it one of the most universally kidney-friendly fruits on this list, appropriate for nearly every CKD stage in typical single servings. How to eat it: 1 medium apple, skin on for the fiber, eaten whole rather than juiced. Juicing removes the fiber that makes this fruit work for blood sugar control in the first place. Fruit number 5. Grapes. Grapes bring flavonoids to the table, a broad category of plant compounds that overlaps with, but extends beyond, the anthocyanins we discussed earlier. Specifically, grapes, especially red and purple varieties, contain resveratrol, a compound that's been studied for its role in supporting healthy blood vessel function. And since your kidneys are essentially a dense network of specialized blood vessels, anything that supports general vascular health has a plausible connection to kidney support, though it's worth being clear that resveratrol research in humans is still an evolving area. This isn't a miracle compound, it's one supportive piece of a larger picture. The numbers: a 1/2 cup serving of grapes contains around 90 milligrams of potassium, a relatively low, manageable amount for most kidney diets. The catch to know about grapes: portion control matters more than people think, because it's easy to eat 2 or 3 cups of grapes without noticing, and at that volume, the potassium and natural sugar content add up quickly. How to eat them. A measured 1/2 cup serving, not straight out of the bag while watching TV, which is how portion control quietly disappears. Raspberries. Raspberries are on this list for a reason most people wouldn't expect. Gut microbiome support specifically relevant to chronic kidney disease. Emerging research, including work referenced by the NIDDK, has pointed to a connection between gut bacterial balance and the toxin load your kidneys have to process. Raspberries are exceptionally high in fiber, more so than most other berries, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria and may help reduce the production of certain gut-derived compounds that otherwise place additional burden on kidney filtration over time. The numbers. A 1/2 cup serving contains roughly 93 milligrams of potassium, alongside one of the highest fiber-to-sugar ratios of any fruit on this entire list, making it a smart choice for anyone also managing blood sugar alongside kidney health. How to eat them. 1/2 cup fresh, on their own, or gently folded into the bedtime bowl we'll build near the end of this video. Fruit number 7. Pineapple. Pineapple is the fruit most people are surprised to see on a kidney health list, and it's here for one specific compound. Bromelain, an enzyme found concentrated in the fruit's core. The National Kidney Foundation notes that pineapple is naturally lower in potassium than most tropical fruits, which is exactly why it's often recommended as an alternative to higher potassium options like bananas or oranges for people managing CKD. Bromelain itself has documented anti-inflammatory properties, and inflammation reduction is a recurring theme across almost everything we've covered in this video, because chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the quiet accelerants of kidney function decline. The numbers. 1 cup of fresh pineapple chunks contains only about 180 milligrams of potassium. Genuinely one of the lower potassium fruit choices available, according to USDA data, making it a useful substitute fruit for people who've had to give up higher potassium favorites. How to eat it. 3/4 cup fresh pineapple chunks. Avoid canned pineapple in syrup, which adds unnecessary sugar without any of the enzymatic benefit being meaningfully preserved. Fruit number 8. Cranberries. The one with a catch. Now we get to the fruit I mentioned at the very beginning. The one with a serious catch that most videos on this topic either get wrong or leave out entirely. Cranberries have a well-documented reputation for urinary tract health. The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, NCCIH, along with research summarized by the NIDDK, notes that certain compounds in cranberries, called proanthocyanidins, may help prevent certain bacteria from adhering to the urinary tract wall, which is relevant because recurrent UTIs can, over time, contribute to kidney stress in some individuals. Here's the catch. Cranberries, particularly cranberry juice and concentrated supplements, can interact with warfarin, a common blood-thinning medication. The interaction can affect INR levels, and this is not a minor footnote. It's a documented drug-nutrient interaction that your pharmacist takes seriously even if it never comes up in casual health content online. If you are on warfarin or any other anticoagulant, this is not a fruit to add to your routine without talking to your doctor first. This is exactly the kind of detail that gets left out of top 10 fruits style videos, and it's exactly the kind of detail that actually matters. The numbers. A 1/2 cup serving of fresh, unsweetened cranberries contains only about 40 to 45 milligrams of potassium. Very low. But again, the medication interaction is the more important consideration for a meaningful portion of the senior population watching this video. How to eat them. If your doctor has confirmed no interaction concerns, a small handful of fresh or unsweetened dried cranberries. Never the sugar-loaded, craisin-style snack blends. The bedtime kidney tonic. Here's a simple way to bring 3 of these fruits together into one easy nighttime bowl. No recipe card needed, just grocery store ingredients. Combine. 1/2 cup fresh or frozen blueberries. 1/2 cup sliced strawberries. A small handful of tart cherries. That's it. No added sugar, no juice, no supplements. Just 3 research-backed fruits, layered together, eaten about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. It takes less time to make than it took me to explain it. When to call your doctor. Fruit is supportive. It is not a replacement for medical monitoring. If you notice swelling in your ankles or around your eyes, unusually foamy urine, persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, or a noticeable drop in how often you're urinating, those are signals to call your doctor, not signals to adjust your fruit intake and wait it out. And if you're already managing stage 3, 4, or 5 chronic kidney disease, or you're on dialysis, everything in this video should be run past your nephrologist or renal dietitian first. Individual potassium and phosphorus limits vary significantly based on lab values, not general guidelines. Case study. Let's make this practical. Consider someone in their late 60s, stage 2 CKD, blood pressure borderline managed, no anticoagulant medication. For this person, a nightly bedtime bowl of blueberries and strawberries, with tart cherries 3 or 4 nights a week, fits comfortably within typical potassium guidelines and directly supports 2 of their existing risk factors, blood pressure and oxidative stress, without requiring a single supplement or medication change. Now shift the scenario slightly. Same age, same CKD stage, but this person is on warfarin for atrial fibrillation. Everything on this list still applies, except cranberries, which come off the table entirely until their doctor weighs in. That's the difference one detail makes, and it's exactly why eat these 8 fruits advice without context can quietly backfire for some viewers. Real talk. None of these 8 fruits are a substitute for your prescribed treatment plan, your medications, or your regular lab work. This isn't about replacing anything your doctor has told you to do. It's about filling in the space around that plan with choices that work with your body instead of against it. Real kidney health is built from consistency over months and years, not from any single food, no matter how many antioxidants it has. Your action plan. Here's what to actually do with everything you just learned. 1. Pick 2 or 3 fruits from this list that fit your current potassium and medication guidelines. 2. If you're on any blood thinner, confirm with your doctor before adding cranberries specifically. 3. Try the bedtime bowl 3 to 4 nights this week and notice how you feel. 4. Bring this video, or just the list of 8 fruits, to your next appointment with your doctor or renal dietitian, and ask them directly which ones make the most sense for your specific labs. That last step matters more than anything else in this video. What's next? If this helped clarify what to actually add to your routine instead of just what to cut, subscribe, because next week's video covers the flip side of this conversation. The 3 most common kidney-damaging habits that have nothing to do with diet at all, and most people are doing at least one of them without realizing it. Take care of those kidneys. I'll see you in the next one.